I am become fancy theatre by the Internet Historian, and I absolutely did pronounce that correctly. Internet Historian releases a new video. Kip sees the new video. I'm a very simple man. I like Internet Historian. I watch Internet Historian. I laugh because Internet Historian just brings the best points to the table. Alas, anything regarding theatre is going to be a good one.
Brought to you by NordVPN.
Oh, Nordman, I'm ready. Feel free to react to these videos, but please wait 48 hours for initial upload. This 48 hours, I'll do you better. 4 days. I got you, Internet Historian. And actually, I want to take a second because I know a lot of people want to watch this. I do want to take a second. I have been asking a lot of people who I've reacted to, who I will be reacting to. I've been reaching out to as many as I can with the business email in regards to React content. If you have not received it, I am working my best. You can only do so many on YouTube per day. I will absolutely champion this point because React content can and will make market replacements for the original content. Please, if you did like this, please go and support the original video. Please go and support Internet Historian because he puts in a lot of work, as well as many other creators that I myself and many other people react to. I wait about 4 days just because scheduling and other things. I want to make sure that this video has enough time to disseminate in the algorithm. This is absolutely valid, and I absolutely love that Internet Historian is putting this in the video. So thank you, Internet Historian. I know you're not going to see this. Thank you for putting this in the video, first of all, that, you know, one, that you're okay with it. Two, that you are stipulating, you have a stipulation on this. Just one thing I wanted to bring up because of what React content is.
Tisk, tisk, tisk.
Oh.
Look at you.
Me?
Uncultured.
Oh.
Unsophisticated.
What? Moi.
Middle class.
What? You take that back.
No, don't speak. You'll just make me throw up. I'd say cover up with this dinner jacket, but I'm afraid that you'd get your head stuck in the sleeve and asphyxiate.
Okay, that was one time. That was 2 times. We don't need to talk about the incident. That was 2 times. I'm fine now. It's all good. We're all straight, homie.
Listen, lowball. Don't you want to be refined? Don't you want to be fancy? Like moi?
Oh.
That's French. I don't expect you to know what it means, but I have...
Well, the French have been brought up. My chat is now going to get assailed by the wheeze. Wow, that is self-fulfilling prophecy.
some good news. Before this financial year ends, I have decided to make a charitable deduction.
Oh.
It's you, champ.
What?
For you see, I...
What? Have premarital sex.
This virus. I
That's a virus.
have made several videos, though.
Tales from
which
the... Wait, Tales from the Virus 3 confirmed? Oh, whoa?
will show you how to bluff your way to the inner circles. Undetected.
Oh.
Yes. By the time the elites find out,
Neon Genesis Evangelion is psychological and intense.
it will be too late. I get you in, you eat all the hors d'oeuvres, and we get out. That's the plan. And let's begin your instruction with... theater. The YouTube premium of upper society.
Uh-huh.
And the first section?
The strings are actually really good here. The string accompaniment to this. Which, look, I'm a very simple man, but as I've grown older, I'm like, yeah, I would absolutely sit through an opera. Yeah, I would do that.
Symphony.
Funny? Oh, symphony. Not the same thing.
The first period of performance, that's called Baroque, from 1600 to 1750. This featured Bach and
Renaissance
Vivaldi.
era.
Now, there was also a guy named Giuseppe Tartini, and he was the best one of them all, because one evening he had a dream where the devil showed up and presented him with a deal. The devil would become his teacher and impart on him everything he knew about music.
How to drop bass.
Once Tartini had learnt everything he could, he handed over his violin and asked the devil to play. The devil played the greatest musical piece that Tartini had ever heard.
Oh my god. How great was my astonishment on hearing a sonata so wonderful and so beautiful, played with such great art and intelligence, as I have never ever even conceived in my boldest flights of fantasy. I felt enraptured, transported, enchanted. My breath failed me. Look, all I'm saying is I may have issues reading on stream, but that doesn't mean that I'm not literate. Only slightly
Tartini
literate.
woke up with a gasp, and he tried to recreate what he had heard in the dream.
Wait, is this just Tenacious D, the best song in the world, but historical?
And what he wrote down was his most famous piece, the best thing he had ever written. And he said, "This is shite compared to the original.
Yeah.
This is nothing better than a tribute." And that
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. No way. No way. This was not pre-watched. Oh my god. Wow, it's been a hot minute since I've seen Pick a Destiny.
that's where you get the Tenacious D song from. He named this piece The Devil's Trill, and he claimed that the difference between his version and the version in the dream was so great that he would have smashed his violin and quit music forever had he not needed it for his job.
Well, yeah.
Classical, 1750 to 1830.
Really? This lates from Renaissance into the Industrial Revolution? Really? I actually didn't know these dates.
Mozart and Beethoven show up like da 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 da.
Yeah.
Beethoven was famously known for
You can hear the shift in tone. You can hear the shift in style, actually. Yeah, that would mark an era. Fascinating, actually.
going deaf. Once that happened, everyone told him that he should just quit music forever. But he just wouldn't hear it. Anyway, there's so much I could say about these two. Romantic era. Now,
Was that a hard cut? What was that?
so much I could say about these two. Romantic.
You know what? That's actually brilliant. I like it. It's a bold cut. The audio ceases, it's sudden, and you're into the romantic era. I actually think that's a beautiful, bold style. I love it.
Romantic era. Now that's when everybody started kissing, and it's my favorite. Great piece. Mwah. Oh, you played wonderfully too. Mwah. We also enjoyed listening. Mwah. Mwah, 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 mwah. All you need to know about this one is Chopin and Berlioz. Berlioz, however, was not getting any kisses. He was relatably, painfully single.
Wait. Depending on the era that's in, that green dress right there, these green dresses might be arsenic. Fashion throughout history is metal. Fashion throughout history is metal. I know if this was, God, what, 1600s era? 1700s? That might be arsenic. If this is 1900s, I don't know. Someone would. I'm very curious if there's either a seamstress or a historian in chat that would know the green and arsenic being used for clothing. I'm very curious if this would be the time period.
Living alone in Paris, the city of love. So here's how it started. He's there and he's in his early 20s, and he is looking for a new GF. So one day he attends a Shakespearean play, and on stage he spots an actress. And he immediately falls in love with her. He wrote her many notes, confessing his love. But her DMs went unreplied. So he began writing a symphony about her. How can she ignore this? And also around this time, he started smoking a lot of opium.
1800s for arsenic. So that would actually track with 1830 to 1900 then. So that was most likely arsenic in those dresses then. I'm full of a lot of random facts.
But don't worry about that. Anyway, so he wrote this piece just for her. However, his DM still went unreplied. For several months, he started to get quite disheartened. Until he saw another girl. So he immediately fell in love with her instead, and he said, you know what? I'm going to change that symphony I wrote, so now it's about this other lady, and not about that ugly one that I didn't like anyway.
Yeah.
This time, happily, she reciprocated, and they fell in love and were set to marry.
Yeah.
Suddenly, what the fuck? Phones haven't been invented yet. Yes, hello, I'm busy. Oh, Rome? To study? Absolutely, I'll catch the first flight out. So Berlioz went to Rome to study music. However, while he was
Medici, that family is very, very influential.
away, he got some news.
Berlioz. I have to tell you something.
Oh. What's it mean?
Sacre bleu. Some other, more handsome musician swooped in and married his girl while he was in Rome, and they ran away together. Berlioz was furious, and he set his mind to solving the problem. I know what I'm going to do. I'm gonna murder her and her lover and her mom. And then I'm gonna do a self-murder. All right, so this gets pretty elaborate. His idea is to dress up as a housemaid. He has bought both poison...
Wait, hold up. I have to read that because there's a little annotation. Not a joke. This really is his plan, as described in his memoirs. He would affectionately name the former mother-in-law as the hippopotamus. He despised her, especially because he believed she had set up the whole marry while away plan, motivated to prevent Camille from marrying... trying to read that. Berlioz, because he was poor. Oof.
Both poison and 2 guns. Now, he is going to sneak into the house of his ex-fiancée, and there she and her mother will be sipping tea, which he has already poisoned. Then he will pull off the clothing and reveal himself. Blam, blam, sad over it. So, he heads back home to Paris to do it. But while on his travels there, takes quite a while, he has to change carriages. And when he does that, he leaves the guns in one of the little cubbies.
Wow.
So he's lost all his weapons. What is he going to do now?
What are you going to do now? With your 20th century ingenuity, what you going to do now?
Well, his next leg on the stop is Genoa. And he decides, you know what? Let's just skip the murder and go straight to the finale. So he stops off in the port city of Genoa, and he's there at the side of the Mediterranean. He pauses for a moment, then he throws himself in. Now, some people see this whole thing happen, and they think he's had an accident, so they run in to try to save him. They pull him to the shore. He lived. So he has now reached his lowest point. He dejectedly continues home. He gets back to Paris, and he wallows around, feeling pretty sorry for himself. But he decides, you know what? I may as well do what I do best in times of trouble.
That quill looks great.
Smoke a lot of opium. And while I do that, I shall write a symphony. Although I ain't gonna name it after that hoe who stole my heart. And so he went back to work. But here's the thing. It was the greatest piece he had ever written. And it premiered to a huge crowd. And you know what? It was
called Symphonie Fantastique. It is the piece currently playing.
A smash hit.
It sounds
#1
great.
on iTunes. But then, and here's a bloody plot twist. Remember the first girl? Well, she attended that concert, and she realized that Berlioz was a genius. And then she wrote a letter to your boy saying how good your bloody symphony was, and sorry about not replying, I just put my phone down and got super busy or whatever. By the way, I love you. And so Berlioz goes, well, I love you too. And a year later, they were married. There's a beautiful moral of the story. See, fellas, don't jump in the Mediterranean.
No.
Anyway, a few years later, they got divorced. Because weirdly, he cheated on his wife with the housemaid. Not that one, a different one. But then he married that housemaid. Hooray. But then when he died later on, for some reason, he gets buried with both of them. It's kind of strange. But
I'm just imagining, what is it? The photo of the tombstone with the dude making the peace sign, right? That's him.
Moving on to the Impressionist musicians.
Ooh.
Now that's Claude de what now?
Yep, I've actually... Yep, I'm aware of this name. Oh boy, actually there's a little bit of overlap because that was 1830 to 1900s. This is 1860s to 1920. So there's a little bit of an overlap between these two.
Now that's Claude de...
Yeah, I don't remember how to say this.
Claude de what? You know what? You'd better go to ad time. All right, guys, welcome back to the Nord Stream.
Oh,
Today
day
we're
one.
playing Assassin's Creed 3. Chat, come on, chat. Hey,
Nord.
oh, everyone's spamming Nord in the chat.
Lord. Yeah.
Whoa, new follower. Hey, welcome to the Dream Team Sub Cream. Thank you so much for the great. Oh,
What I believe Internet Historian would actually do this for a stream. Like, he would probably also do it in this aspect ratio too. I love this man so much.
followed. Sorry, guys. The cleaners are here. Sorry, just ignore the mess. I haven't cleaned up these bottles yet. No, it's just tea. It's just tea.
It's just tea. It's Nordman.
I stream for 10 hours a day, and it's like the algorithm is against me or something. How come everyone is watching Asmon's stream, and I'm not getting any new
Surprise Asmund Gold jump scare. He's always there. That's the joke. We can't escape him.
followers? I'm playing the games. What more do you want me to do? Just a quick word from the sponsor. NordVPN is the VPN that you can trust. So go to nordvpn.com/internethistorian for a huge deal on a 2-year plan plus 4 bonus months for free plus a 30-day money-back guarantee. My God. Today we are going to be watching the new Snow White movie. I love the intro. Oh, I love seeing that Disney logo. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Guys, I'm just gonna get up and get some food. I'll be back in a minute.
Oh! The XQC shade.
What the Who reported my stream? Hello, my Nordlings. Welcome back to the stream. Can we get some ends in the chat, guys? No,
Ends? What?
not like that.
No!
Mods!
What?
Welcome back to the ASMR stream for...
Okay, but why is he actually not doing it like Internet Historian ASMR stream though? I want this man to tell me about the funny musician in this voice. Actually, well, I think we have a winner, chat.
NordVPN. Today I'm going to be drinking a can of Coke while I say the word Nord.
NordVPN.
Nord.
Oh, my model
Thank
broke.
you for the
It was so
death
funny it broke
result.
my model. I don't know what.
With NordVPN, I can be outside my house, Jack's Film's house, Samito's house, Ordinary Things house.
Not the Jack
Just like that.
Oh,
Back
that
to the
was...
hot tub stream. What do you guys mean? How many hot dogs can I put in my mouth? Why? I'll just...
6. I could probably do 6, actually. I mean, I could do 5 pretty comfortably. 6 would be pushing it. Technically, depending on what counts as a hot dog in my mouth, probably up to 8, maybe. But it depends on the situation. Why am I not doing ASMR, Kip? You don't want me doing ASMR. It'd be awful. Like, actually awful.
Oh my God, $5,000 donation. Thank you so much. You guys are such good friends.
He's doing the hot tub stream. I knew it. Internet Historian's finally embracing the hot tub streams.
Streaming's not for me. I'd rather go to nordvpn.com/internethistorian to get a huge deal on a 2-year plan plus 4 months for free. And over.
That was a really good ad read, though.
Watching Netflix, are you?
Maybe.
All tucked in with a 3-hour essay on Good Game Good, and here's why.
Fallout.
Excuse you. It's technically 7 hours on the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind with the 12-hour Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion video. 3 hours. Do not waste my time with these trivial numbers.
Fallout New Vegas is actually the only based Bethesda game.
Turn that off. I've got something for you much less enjoyable and
He is a
far
Reptoid. I
more
knew it.
expensive. We're going to the theater.
Ah.
Theater, from the ancient Greek, theatron, the most dramatic of the Transformers. It means a place for viewing. Here's a Roman theater. They were quite simple back then. You have the stage, the auditorium, and the vomitorium.
Nice.
Now, for a very long time, people thought that the vomitorium was a place where the Romans would gorge themselves, where they would eat so much that they would throw up and then gorged themselves again because they were so decadent and or bulimic. But it comes from the word vomir, which means to spew forth, because that's where people go in and out. So vomitorium is just a dramatic way of saying
entrance and exit.
The entrance. Now,
and that is a prime example of how language studies are actually super interesting. And why was it it's not the sarcophagus, where radioactive waste is being stored on the deep in that island, right? And it has to be sealed off for like several dozen thousands of years. Long time it's got to be sealed off, right? If we can go from based, not meaning anything, to in a couple years' time being everywhere, or cringe going from no meaning to all meaning to really this weird nebulous concept within the span of a couple years. Now imagine trying to tell people 10,000 years in the future, hey, you shouldn't go here, when vomir, to spew forth, is an entrance to an exit. It's interesting to think about in terms of language, one, design, but two, how it evolves. I have very interesting tastes and concepts that I study.
If you skip forward to the 1800s, things are getting a lot more modernized. But they still didn't have electric. So they had what's called the limelight.
Oh.
And that's why they say, to be in the limelight, to be the star of the show. What they would do was take a piece of quicklime and heat it up super hot, which will naturally glow very bright. They would then take...
I need to actually see the science on that. When heated to 2,400 degrees Celsius, the chlorine reacts with slaked lime to form sodium hypochlorite and calcium chloride and emits a bright white light. Chemistry. Gotta love it.
And take reflective mirrors and lenses to focus the beam, and they would use that as an early form of the spotlight.
Yeah.
The limelight is not because it's green, but because it's made from quicklime.
Yeah.
In the modern day, things are a lot more advanced, and they can do all sorts of cool shit with like lasers going into your eyeballs and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's not just the tech that's had an upgrade, it's the architecture as well. In Elizabethan times, they had the yard, and you could get in here for about a penny apiece. And this is where all the poor people stood to watch the shows. It's like when you go to Oppenheimer and you end up with the worst seats in the IMAX theater, right? But thankfully, in modern times, we have fixed that problem. We kicked out all the poor people and we sunk the floor down low and put in...
I mean, when you put it that way, actually,
an orchestra pit. Now, these things are usually 6 to 12 feet deep, so they're not obstructing the audience's view.
No.
But having a giant hole at the end of a stage is quite dangerous.
Yeah, it is.
So usually they put a big net there as well.
Yeah.
And yet, a lot of people still get pitted.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people. In 2011, during a production of The Sound of Music, one of the lead actresses fell into the orchestra pit and was left paralyzed from the waist down. In 2009, a conductor, not a superconductor, just a regular one, fell 14 feet into the dark pit.
Ow.
And broke 9 vertebrae and 1 ankle. Mamma mia. And he fell on his pointy conducting thing. At the Bolshoi Theater, a violinist died from his injuries after falling into the pit.
Yeah.
This theater is prone to all sorts of accidents, by the way. It's kind of cursed. But performers and musicians aren't the only ones falling into the pit. In 1988, an 82-year-old man fell from his balcony box seating all the way down into the pit during a performance of Macbeth. He died.
The little excerpt that my fat head is covering was talking about how he was sitting on a rail and an usher told him not to. At that point, it is unfortunately his own damn fault because he didn't. He was told not to do something and chose to do it anyway. The F around and find out squad, if you will.
Died. Very spooky. Even already dead people are getting pitted. In 2016, a man sprinkled his friend's ashes into the orchestra pit at the Met Theatre.
No.
This happened during the intermission, and it was a sort of tribute to a mentor of his. But of course, people went, "What the hell are you doing?" And he goes, "Oh, I don't know," and he flees the scene.
The Pokemon sound effect. That actually could come with some potential criminal charges with mishandling a deceased person. Actually, that's a very, very big thing, a big no-no for a lot of people.
Everyone's coughing and sneezing up dead guy, and people think, is this anthrax? What is this? So they call in the anti-terrorism police, and the whole show is cancelled for the rest of the evening.
Yeah. Just
A
ask
quick
first.
intermission.
Oh, intermission.
Or is it?
What?
Ooh, fiddle-tee-dee, I am the trap master. Not like that.
What?
Do not
No.
ask me
Wait,
to
what?
reveal my secrets, woman. I have dedicated my life to the mysteries of the theater. Ah, the theater. She has so many enigmatic traps.
Uh-huh.
Let us start with the most simple, yet devious.
Is this effectively going to boil down to this is the person that orchestrates the Deus Ex Machina? And I'm using that in the correct words, brain. I'm using that in the correct sense of the phrase, right? Where the theater Deus Ex Machina, you know, man is machine, right? Using cranes and pulleys to lift people during plays and stuff. So if we're activating, you know, as we just saw, looks like trapdoors and stuff, is this the mastermind behind a lot of that Deus Ex Machina? I'm very curious.
The wall trap.
Oh.
It allows the actor to walk directly into the set piece. Ah, where did he go? Nobody knows. Cast your eyes over here to the genie trap. Now the victim stands on this dumbwaiter, and a counterweight launches their hapless body up onto the stage. Whoosh! In the olden days, this circle of flaps would sometimes go on top, and then that would make the whole thing just one way. Now, back when they made this thing, they didn't have hydraulics. So instead, they'd have like 6 stagehands pulling as fast as they could. And sometimes it
So this would be the Deus Ex Machina. The Trap Master would probably be the figure heading a lot of
would
this,
go
or at
totally
least orchestrating
wonky,
how it's
or it
how
wouldn't
it works.
open properly, or they'd only get about halfway through.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I guess that's it. There's only 2. Wrong. This is the vampire trap. And if I want to come back up again, this is called the sunroof trap. Very cool.
Yeah.
Watch out for the closing doors on this one. It managed to trap Spider-Man's foot back into production in 2013. Me and the Green Goblin, we collabed on this one. All right, there's one more. The Ghost Glide. What you do is stand on this slidey bit, and it ascends diagonally, which makes it look like he's coming out of the ground. But the ladies, they're yawning, they're going, ooh, short ghost. But then, 5 foot, 5 foot 1, 5 foot 2. All the ladies are turning their heads now. 5 foot 3,
Oh, he's
5
going.
foot 4,
He's going.
5 foot 5. All the ladies are loving.
Awful.
Now, I bet you're wondering, what happens to the actors when they go down these traps? Are they dead and gone forever?
No. Probably just a holding
Yes,
area.
sometimes. In 1888,
Okay, old theater. Yeah, old theater. There weren't going to be a lot of protections, let's be real.
Frederick Federici was playing the role of Mephistopheles in Faust at the Princess Theatre in Melbourne. As he descended the trap at the end of the play, goodbye, everybody, goodbye. He had a heart attack and died.
Yeah.
Never seen again. So as you can imagine, with this many deaths, the theatre has become a highly haunted place. Oh yes. In fact, sometimes you can put your ear right up to the wall and you can hear 2 male ghosts wrestling. Can't fake that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you could say that, yeah. No, don't worry, it's just Bobby and Dale. They're just wrestling again. Don't worry about it. It's fine. I'm sure it's fine.
Another ghost hole.
Oh.
Don't look inside. I did once. Almost went blind. That's why I wear the mask. Anyway, because of all the ghosts, the theatres do whatever they can to keep the spirits happy. See this? It's called a ghost light. When everything is closed, it is kept on always. Kept on for the ghosts, so that they don't, bump their shins in the dark or whatever. At the Palace Theatre in London, there has been some ghostly activity.
It seems to be bit of a hotspot for ghostly activities.
And that's why they always keep 2 empty seats at the back so that the ghosts may sit there and watch the show.
So that's why we traditionally kept a couple of seats off sale for the ghosts. However, Harry Potter is so popular that we sell those seats now.
Oh. Also, most theatres close for...
Ah, yes, we have a time-honored tradition. I like money, though. No, I mean, I can't. If it's a full house, it's a full house. There's not really a lot to go on about that. Plus, you would get people complaining, well, there's two seats right there. Why can't my friends come in, right? A lot of that would also be customer-centric, viewer audience. Why can't we just have those seats?
1 day per week. And on those days, the ghosts are left to perform for each other in their own shows. Which
Amazing.
they like, we think.
Awful.
I was worried about my own vagina. It
Oh,
needed a
finally,
context,
the vagina
a
monologues.
culture. Of other vaginas.
Oh.
I wasn't always part of the elite. In fact, from a very young age, I grew up in an orphanage. No, my parents weren't dead. Rent in that building was just really cheap. But my parents showed me no affection. And as soon as they could, they sent me off to boarding school. But boards were always their passion, not mine.
What is this?
I tried to run away.
Why was there what? Oh, okay. Types of boards. Okay. Yeah, it's get it because it's boarding school you're learning about. Because I saw them like sycamore, birch, fir, beech. These are trees. Okay. I just had to pay attention. There's a lot of depth in this bit.
Boards were always their passion, not mine. I tried to run away, but they caught me. And boy, did they throw the book at me. Alas, I did not dodge in time. I spent the next few years in a coma. A Native American town, Pueblo, Acoma.
What?
And the people there taught me how to read American. They also had a local library, and I spent my days buried in books, learning as much as I could about the arts.
Ninja!
And once someone noticed me buried under those books and they rescued me, I knew I wanted to teach default character presets like yourselves, all about Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Editor's note. I started Googling Shakespeare and I got kind of distracted, so I don't know. Here's a WAV file. You can do something with this. Put him in like a classroom or something. All right, attention, everybody. I am your new teacher. You are a bunch of troubled inner city youth.
So here's the thing about Shakespeare is that it's just full of a bunch of dick jokes. And like people, oh, it's Shakespeare. That's for old people. And I don't want to read Shakespeare. Oh, people that know. Oh God, this is filthy. Oh God.
Youths. All you know is shoot gun, fail test, and crime. But I need a teacher that actually books and reading and stuff are actually pretty epic after all. Now, the earliest known written language is what, Mr. Single Parent Household?
Sumerian? Maybe? I mean, it depends on your definition of written. I mean, are we talking about just transcribing some sort of glyphs, or are we talking like language as we know it today, with a, I, U, E, O for Japanese, vowels in English, A, E, I, O, U, right? Are we talking like that? I would assume ancient Sumerian would be on that list.
I don't know, Teach, but you're never going to get through to me.
Cuneiform, thank you.
Oh, really? Well, what if I go back in time? Back in time. In the long, long ago, very few could read. But to be fair, most of the written languages were kind of shit. This is cuneiform, the very first.
Are we getting confirmation? Is this going to be a rare Kip W? Oh, whoa?
Written language. And it has far too much punctuation. Then eventually came along the Egyptian.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Bring everybody. I used to play with a dude. I absolutely loved him. His name, we'll call him Jay. Loved this dude. And there was a time that he actually drew what he needed. And he just screams Yu-Gi-Oh! in the middle of the game shop and actually went to win the round. Oh, dude was an absolute legend.
And they invented emojis,
Oh.
but they would call them hieroglyphs. Anyway, the typical written thing would go like this. Message for you, sir. Big bird, man with stick, man sitting, circle. Oh, more bills.
So what if I told you, think about this for a second. Memes are just modern hieroglyphs, right? Have you ever sent the Cheems bonk meme, right? I wonder. Have you ever just sent the hawk that flies into the car, right? Sits on the seat, looks scared. And now that you're good, now you're gonna not stop thinking about that. Now that memes are just modern hieroglyphs.
Eventually, that became quite annoying. So the Phoenicians, who were a kind of Lebanese, very progressive, especially for those days. Now they came up with a better idea. They started going, hey, that sounds a bit like an A. Buh. That sounds a bit like a B. Cool. And so on and so on. Until we had a proto-form of the alphabet. Now, the Greeks thought that was pretty neato, but they said, let's come up with an even better version with 22 letters, and soon that will be like English.
Yeah.
Oral history. Greeks, more like geeks. Got 'em. Oh, yeah?
Got 'em.
Well, let me tell you about something highly relatable. Of the surviving Greek works, the greatest hits were the Iliad and the Odyssey. Now,
Yeah.
because most people couldn't read, this stuff wasn't written down for a very long time. And instead, it was memorized and performed. And when they performed it, they used one of these, a lyre.
Yeah.
Now, this was great for conveying tone, right? So
Right.
here's a soft bit, doodle-doo, but then this is a big dramatic bit. Dun, 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 dun. Now,
Right.
the Iliad starts with this guy, Menelaus, king of Sparta.
I'm going to interject real quick. I think this tracks for kind of like the Western world, right? Like this tracks for like, Rome, Greek, going into Britain, etc., right? I mean, it's going to track for that. I feel like the Asian countries are going to have a little bit of a different history in regards to the evolution of their writing system, specifically, because China has been a powerhouse for God, how many thousands of years, right? Like they had gunpowder before everybody else, right? And I think this should be taken in the vacuum as like Western theater. Whereas you could argue, right, kabuki, traditional Japanese theater, which has a lot of actual bleed over into how anime works, actually, when you think about it, that is going to be a whole different beast, in my opinion. I'd be very curious if somebody has actually studied the two, studied both, Western, European, etc., that theater, and studied Asian theater as well, kabuki, other traditional styles as well. Even Indian, actually. I'd be very curious where Indian theater would fall into this, as well as language evolution. I'd be very curious in the comment section if anyone has actually studied that.
And he has a wife, Helen, and she is a very fine lady. And then the Prince of Troy shows up. His name is Paris. And he goes, damn, shorty, awooga, awooga. Okay? Hey, that's what he'd say, right? And he and his boys abduct her and took her all the way back to his crib in Troy. Now, this makes Menelaus quite miffed.
Hey, hold on there, Buster.
He declares a turf war. But he can't win it alone, so he calls on his homies. Odysseus, king of Ithaca, and Achilles, the best drive-by shooter of all time. But Achilles is not in the mood to fight, so the whole of the Iliad is basically spent trying to convince this guy to get involved.
Please? No. Please? No.
Eventually, they win the turf war by being very sneaky. They make a giant horse, which is the symbol of Troy, and they leave it at the front gate. That's their way of saying, oh, I guess you win. We're walking away.
Look at these idiots. They just gave us a horse. A selfie picture. Everyone's making peace signs.
Away now. And meanwhile, thousands of soldiers go off and hide in some bushes. Now, the Trojans are very suspicious, but they can see that the Greek ships are actually sailing away into the horizon. So they know, oh, it must be real, must be real. We've won the many years war. But actually, There's almost no one on those ships, and there's a surprise inside the horse.
Oh,
Later that night, when everyone's asleep, boiling hot tzatziki everywhere. And also some soldiers wearing thermal protection. They get out and they open the gates, and then everyone comes out of the bushes, running into the city and kill everybody.
Yeah.
After they win the war, Odysseus heads back home to Ithaca. However, on his way, he starts making beef with Poseidon, god of the sea. And Poseidon is...
Never. No. Do not. Do not mess with Poseidon. Do not. This is not going to end well. This isn't going to go the way you think.
Mad at the disrespect. So he sends Odysseus on a long-ass detour, and that detour is the story of the Odyssey. Pretty epic, right, kids?
Yeah. Yeah, don't F with the Greek gods. Do not F with Zeus specifically. Zeus F's a lot of things, but do not F with Zeus. Clarification on the Sumerian was the first written language, but it was written in cuneiform. Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Whoa, Teach, that's fire. I'm starting to come around. That Odysseus guy is literally me. Yeah, I'm going to try that horse trick on my ops. Homer from Homer's Odyssey is not a character in the story. He's the guy who tells the story, and then people write it down. Now, moving chronologically to the next big one, you've got the Bible. And for all practical purposes, this was basically an oral tradition too. Most people were illiterate by this point, and the Bible was written in Latin, and pretty much only the clergy knew Latin. So they would be the one to recite it to people.
Uh-huh.
It says that the cute lady at the front should go on a date with me, please.
Ooh.
Listen, the rules are the rules. I didn't say it, the book did.
There was a translated version into English, the Wycliffe's Bible, and you better believe that thing was a threat to the order. So they made that illegal to own.
What?
And if you were found with an
Jeremy Clarkson jump scare.
unlicensed copy, the punishment would be death. So it remained. The Bible was read to the people. Now, by the 1300s came Chaucer, who wrote the Canterbury Tales, and that was a pretty big deal.
Get this book now.
Because it's one of the first significant works written in Middle English. It describes a bunch of people making a pilgrimage from Southwark to Canterbury, which is here to here, which was the longest journey anyone had ever made in the 1300s.
That is definitely
now,
not
it's a
true
whole
now.
series of stories, and most of them can be boiled down to, how come if everyone is on a pilgrimage, you're all so focused on material stuff? Oh, hypocrites much? Dong. It's now the 1600s, and they've updated all the textbooks from Middle English to regular. In 1601, King James I said, all right, you know what? Let's everyone have a copy of the Bible they can read. Let's do a King James Bible. I won't feature it, but I'd love to be in the title.
Oh, no. Oh, I have heard so many rants on the King James edition. Oh, no. No, I will not be going into detail. Just, oh, no.
And he commissioned a committee of scholars to rewrite the thing in English, God's language.
Now I can't speak Spanish or anything.
It took 8 years. And that brings us to Shakespeare. And he's a huge deal. Oh, look, we're out of time. But sir, we're supposed to do penis inspection day today. No.
Okay, we got inspection day, okay. Wow, we've had South Park and Octoon Hunger Force come up with a single video. Man, you guys are eating good today.
There's no time. Roll the end card.
Amazing.
The end. All right, that's the lesson. You watched the whole video. Or at least...
Chaotic, did you actually just put Ancient Sumerian? Did you find a typeset for it and actually just paste it into chat? You absolute Chad.
You had it on in the background while you scrolled your phone. And I couldn't be prouder of you. There's just one more quick thing I want to tell you about. Theater props. For example, this gun.
Oh, wait a minute.
The thing... Oh, look who it is.
I don't like where this is going. I don't like where this is going. Oh, no.
I know what you're thinking, but it's just an actor. We all know that the real Lincoln is dead. When he fell asleep on the tracks of the Underground Railroad.
What?
Anyway.
What?
This thing's super realistic. Although the trigger is a little loose. Ruh-roh.
Ruh-roh, Raggy. like Scoob,
I can't believe you did that. But I won't tell anyone. And, in fact, good news. I'm gonna make you my little protege. And I will be your proto-jo. And I got so many more lessons to teach.
I love
Still
this.
here, huh? Yes, just a little cleaning.
A little
More
like
good
cleaning.
news. Next video is almost done. It'll be on incognito mode, and it's about the art. And
Cool.
the next main channel video is also nearly done.
Nice.
That'll be out shortly after.
Cool.
If you're looking for more content in the meanwhile, we have another channel called Story Mode. The Metal Gear Solid and Forspoken videos are especially good. Don't forget NordVPN. Thank you for watching. More soon.
Yeah, no, I love this video. And absolutely, this will not be going up within anywhere in the first 2 days, the first 48 hours. And I would recommend, if anybody does see a reaction to it in the first 48 hours, just please steer clear of it. I want to make sure Internet Historian is able to, one, be incentivized, and two, feel respected in their works and wishes. But this was absolutely amazing. And honestly, as many of you who watch me know, this is right up my alley. It's right up my alley because history, because language, performing art. It's so good. Oh, I guess it is technically 2 days past, but alas, I'll be uploading it sometime in the next week. I'll try to push this out. But what are your guys' thoughts? What are your guys' thoughts on really any of it, honestly? What are you guys' thoughts on the performing arts? What are your thoughts on the history of Deus Ex Machina? Do you think, here's your excuse to think about the Roman Empire for the day. What do you think the Roman Empire's additions to this were, even if they subtracted anything, right? What are your opinions on... Let's not have opinions on the King James Bible. Let's strictly ignore anything that could be considered religious. What are your thoughts, though? Have you studied traditional Japanese theater? Have you studied Chinese theater? What are your thoughts on those? Thoughts on the language structure and how that language evolved? Let me know in the comment section, especially if you do have experience in that field. And I will see you all in the next one.